219! 219!
Forward Progress, a Chicago Bears podcast with Dan Bernstein and Matt Abaticola on 312 Sports.
We give you Forward Progress on 312 Sports. I'm Dan Bernstein. That is Matt Abaticola talking about your 4-2 Chicago Bears, who are traveling to Baltimore to take on the 1-5 Ravens. It does appear that Lamar Jackson may be coming back, as he was limited in practice yesterday.
Correct.
But we saw the visuals. You saw him jog out on the field, and we will discuss the preparations for that game and more with a special guest. We're brought to you by Church Brewing, New Buffalo's brewery-pizzeria in a historic church, wood-fired Neapolitan pizza, small batch craft beer, brunch every day. Visit beerchurchbrewing.com. Our guest on Forward Progress is this familiar face. He is Fox 32 Chicago lead sports anchor, Lou Canellis on Forward Progress. How are you, Lou? How you been?
What's going on, Dan? What's going on, Matt? Matt,
hey,
great
Lou.
to see you, buddy.
It's great to see you too, pal. It really is good. Thanks for taking time for us today. It's so nice to have you on, pal.
I'm telling you, it's great to see you guys launching the podcast. Dan, great to see you back. You know, I feel like I'm in the major leagues, and when a guy with your talent is back in the game, that's where it belongs.
Well, that's very sweet of you. Thank you.
And don't forget, Dan's here too.
I also now that I'm working with your guys Sherman and Tingle on 97.1 FM, The Drive, they're complete maniacs, by the way.
Two of the craziest guys, but they fit the format, don't they? I mean, you're going from Zeppelin at 7 a.m. to those two guys. So it makes total sense.
Yeah, and congratulations to 97.1 FM The Drive, the 2025 Marconi Award winner for Best Rock Station in the country.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It's awesome. And to our friend Jan Delane, who won for Behind the Song, won Best Radio Station Produced Podcast in the country. So a lot of good things are going on here. And I know that you're a friend of that program and have been for a long time.
I love those guys. I listen to the station as a 61-year-old who grew up listening to Zeppelin, Rush, Aerosmith, you name it. So I couldn't be happier for a better group of people. That's
and just think, they've done that with Sherman and Tingle.
I know, it's amazing.
It's amazing.
Despite having Sherman and Tingle, they win a damn Marconi.
That's some great management there.
I love taking a shot at those boys. By the way, tell those guys they still owe me dinner at Gibson's. I'm
Done.
starving.
Oh, done.
Done. Absolutely, we'll do that.
We'll make them pay for us too. We'll all tag along.
Please.
So is Ben Johnson just now settling into the job in some ways? It has to be drinking from a fire hose to go from, I wanted this job, and all of the excitement and the hoopla and the press conference, he's pumping his fist in Hallis Hall, and then has his first ever experience as a head coach with OTAs and rookie mini camp and training camp, and now that he's enough into the season, does he have his sea legs yet?
I'm not sure. I really am not sure. And maybe we really saw a glimpse of that, Dan, this past week. You know, he looks at his quarterback. He figures, oh, wait, I got it figured out with the run game. Now the quarterback will continue to improve. And instead, you look at what Caleb's done with at least his completion rate, and then just with, the eyes of just watching him on Sunday, and you see maybe he's regressed. I worry, and I hate that I'm even saying that I'm doubting that the kid is coming along, but I'm going to go back to your original question, and that was, does Ben Johnson have his sea legs? I don't think so. I think he is still learning with this quarterback. I think that sometimes he needs to take a step back and remind himself that he took over Caleb Williams, who played the position differently than he wants the position played. He didn't take Jared Goff and say, okay, now we're going to play my scheme. He took a guy maybe never ran a cadence, maybe, was behind center and shotgun in high school in Washington, D.C., and in college, with the clap snap count, leading with the left foot, So many different things with the way Caleb Williams plays the position, I think have been a learning experience for Ben Johnson as well. And maybe it's taking a little longer for the coach to get his quarterback to play the game the way he wants him to play it than he thought.
Yeah, it's interesting that you have that perspective, Lou, because I was thinking about it yesterday, and the strength of Caleb's game doesn't match the strength of what Ben Johnson's offense requires of a quarterback. And I wonder, how can the two come together? Because it really can't be, let's meet in the middle and find some common ground. It really has to be more of the quarterback getting to the level that the offense requires and those skills that come with it. Can those two things be achieved where Ben Johnson finds success in his offense and the scheme he wants to run with the quarterback that needs to run it, and Caleb Williams being a part of that?
Well, let me ask you guys this. If they had lost their last 4 games, we'd be screaming for a quarterback change right now. Okay, if they had lost, and you saw from the Dallas game through the Saints game that his completion rate just was dropping to where it fell last Sunday, fans in this town and media would be saying it's not working. And winning cures all ills. Okay, so they have been winning, so we overlook maybe the difficulties that Caleb Williams is having with this offense. I remember going into the season, we said, hey, the kid's holding on to the football too long. He's not getting not getting the ball in the playmakers' hands fast enough, like Jared Goff did in Detroit, where the Lions led the league in yards after catch. And what do I see this past week? Caleb Williams held the football longer in the pocket as a quarterback than any other QB in the league. So I hope, Matt, that it works. And I know that all parties hopes it works. But at some point, if it doesn't improve and the team starts to lose, he'll feel pressure. Ben Johnson will feel pressure, and Caleb Williams will feel immense pressure.
Let me tie those two things together, if I may. What you talked about was the difference between a college clap snap and learning pro offense. I think the idea of how long he holds the ball is a symptom, but isn't the real issue. Because ideally, where Johnson wants it, and as I understand it, the timing, we keep talking about timing, the rhythm, like his game last game, we saw it in the numbers, but the eye test just said nothing was connected. There was no real rhythm. Even the good wasn't connected to more good. The good and bad weren't necessarily connected. That when this is humming, the timing starts the moment the ball is spotted. That's when the process begins. The call of the play, the reception of the play in the ears to brain, brain to mouth, breaking of the huddle. And I and Ben Johnson both want Caleb Williams to be ahead of the game, be in charge before the ball's even snapped, let alone how long he holds on to it. He's got to be able to look up there. Maybe you lift the leg, you send a guy in motion. Okay, got it. If this guy comes, I know where I'm going. If he doesn't come, I know where I'm going. The idea that he's winning before the snap. And I think that's what Johnson says. You've got to see it the way I see it, because I know he sees it. Can that be taught?
I do believe it can, and I love that insight, and I'll tell you why. I remember, all right, so the Buffalo game, we did not carry on Fox. Still did the pregame show from the field at Soldier Field, but I was in the press box. And on that first drive, and remember how great that first drive was to Olamide Zaccheaus for the touchdown? I watched him break the huddle with 18 seconds still left on the play clock. He was up and he was running to the line of scrimmage. And I thought to myself, wow, what a difference from a year ago when every single play was going down to 0 on the play clock. And this day, there was still 15 seconds left to play on the play or left to go on the play clock. And you could see Williams comfortable, taking a deep breath, looking at the defense he was facing. On Sunday, watching the game here from my office at Fox, how many times, if you look back at the All-22, Dan and Matt, look back and watch and see how many times that play clock is down to one. One time he even got the play off after the play clock expired. He didn't get flagged for it. And I thought to myself, there's no rhythm, not like it used to be. Why? What's happened? Is he thinking too much? And sometimes I wonder if Caleb Williams is thinking too much. If he has thrown, and I'm not talking specifically about plays, and where you can reduce the playbook, and then it's easier for him to go out and execute. I'm talking about the whole process, as you said, getting the play in, getting to the line of scrimmage, seeing what he's got in front of him, calling an audible if he has to, and then the snap count. I worry that he's worried so much about other things like, all right, in this defense that I'm looking at, should I run with it? No, I shouldn't run with it because he wants me to make sure that if it's supposed to be a Dunze, then I make sure that if a Dunze is not open, I check off on DJ Moore and then maybe the safety valve, Swift coming out of the backfield or Loveland, in the middle of the field, 5 yards up. I think it can be taught, Dan, but this is part of what Ben Johnson has been screaming about since the start of training camp. He said, my offense will be playing its best football in December, not in October, not October 23rd, in December. And I did something for social media here at Fox on Monday, and I said, we have to remind ourselves to be patient with this offense.
Yeah, I'm taking that path as well as a crazy Bears fan. It just being a little more patient. I still have very high expectations for Caleb, for Ben Johnson, but I want to go back to that first question that we had about Ben Johnson's sea legs, and I disagree to a certain extent that I think he has evolved and gotten better as a head coach over the last 4 games, and I know winning helps everything. But I see him call the games differently. I loved the challenge he threw on the Saints screen pass or forward pass that they then did a little hitch and got the first down, but it was called back for being a forward pass. I see Ben Johnson, the head coach, evolve, and I'm going to hold out hope that what I saw develop in the run game under Ben Johnson his last couple games can also happen with Caleb, but it's going to take a longer amount of time. And I saw a piece online earlier today, Lou, about the Bears offseason and Ben Johnson being the highlight of that offseason and being falling below expectations, which I completely disagree with. At 4-2, being a first-time head coach, I think Ben Johnson is doing an exceptional job. I really am going to hold out that he can really get Caleb to develop into what he needs to be. But does Ben Johnson need to be a little more flexible in allowing Caleb to be able to do what Caleb does? He didn't scramble at all last week. Not one time. And I do agree with you that I think he is thinking about too much in his head about the technical stuff that Ben's teaching him and Ben wants him to develop and change in his game. I think Ben needs to be a little more flexible and allow Caleb to be Caleb a bit. Is that far-fetched? Is that just me being a meatball fan? Or does Ben need to be a little more flexible as well, too?
I think it makes total sense. I am curious, the article that you read, what are the expectations of Ben Johnson through 6 games?
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it. It was a thing on ESPN. It was Bill Barnwell, and he listed all the teams and had the Bears as falling below expectations. And I'm like, they're 4-2. Like, what do you want from Ben Johnson putting all these pieces together? And there was other areas that he criticized, but calling out Ben Johnson there and categorizing it as falling below expectations, I think they're above expectations right now with Ben Johnson. And that's why I believe they're 4-2. It's because of Ben Johnson.
I'm with you. And I'll go a step further. I do the show with Tom Thayer, Bears Game Day and Bears Game Night Live. And Thayer, really let me into the thinking of an offensive lineman. And he said, this doesn't happen overnight. I don't care if you're Joe Tooney, 4-time All-Pro, or Jonah Jackson or Drew Dahlman, which, Dahlman was the hottest center available during the offseason. He said it takes time for those guys up front and game time. I'm talking about real NFL game time, not OTAs, not training camp, not preseason. Tooney didn't even play in the preseason. Game time. It takes game time for these guys to develop chemistry up front. And I think we're seeing the result of that with the run game having success the last two ball games since the bye week, and I think we'll see continued growth from the offensive line. From the, I looked at some numbers yesterday, guys. Bears are last in the league at targeting the tight end. Who would have thought that, considering where Ben Johnson was coming from?
Do you think the Theo Benedette move in any way means that they see more upside there, or is that just the best they've got for now?
Both. Great question. Both. I think that they feel like, wow, this guy was fourth on the depth chart when we took over this team. We went to training camp. No one thought, undrafted free agent last year who spent the whole season on the practice squad, not given a chance. Team is going through a 10-game losing streak last year. You're not going to go out and throw a guy who, you didn't draft. No one really saw him. The one thing Ben Johnson has said is the kid was kind of lost in Canada. So I think that they're going to grow with him. And if it means him crapping the bed like he did last Sunday against the Saints and grading out as the worst offensive lineman in the league, they're going to grow with it, because I do believe that for the rest of this season, he's their guy. And if things don't get better, if it's this, I think they're okay with. If it's this and we don't see a dip back up, then obviously they can kick themselves for not going out and drafting or, moving up in the draft to get Kelvin Banks Jr. And left tackle will be first on their list next year.
What has been your assessment of DJ Moore this year?
2 weeks ago, I would have said that DJ Moore obviously has fallen out of favor with Caleb Williams. Not that they're not getting along, just he's not the favorite target anymore, and that Odunze has become that number one target. And then I saw this, I don't know where I saw it, but I saw this interaction between the two, and I said to myself, might have been in one of those locker room celebrations, might have been on the sidelines during one of the broadcasts, and I said, they're still boys. And I just feel like Caleb Williams has found more comfort in finding Odunze than he has DJ Moore. I think DJ Moore, and then we saw last week this guy out there busting his ass, and Lord knows he had a groin issue. We'll keep it at that. And then had to go to the hospital after the game. But on that final drive, on that 15-yard swift run, he's downfield, still out there throwing blocks. I think DJ Moore still has a place on this roster. I'd hate to see, because I know we all like to play hey, trading deadline's coming up Tuesday, November 4th. What could DJ Moore bring us back in return? I think there's a spot for Moore on this roster. I think he could have success. He's obviously got the fat contract. And whether he's the number one target or not, I think is irrelevant to DJ Moore. But I think it's important he remains a Bear.
I think that the fat contract is probably the reason why nobody's going to trade for that. And I heard the name Braxton Jones being brought up as a possibility now that he has fallen out of favor and they seem to have made that decision. But I do think the trade deadline is going to tell us a lot about where they are in the larger picture. Is it worth it to chase the playoffs this year? Is it worth it to try to aggrandize maybe what someone would think is a surprising 4-2 record, looking at a surprisingly softer schedule as happens in the NFL? My gut feeling, Lou, is keep your powder dry.
I'm with you.
I just think that take this as, hey, we're building something. Let's marshal all our assets here. Maybe at the end of the season, we can get a better sense of things. If somebody wants to leave as a free agent and you get a comp pick, that now you have the Ben Johnson's influence over the draft is going to be felt in a different way. I don't want to start mortgaging the future if there's something positive here to chase a short-term flame out.
Man, I'm with you 100%. I am with you. I do not want them to do a damn thing at the deadline. I want them to play this season out, see what happens in the month of December when he feels like, and he knows his talent better than us, better than anyone.
Or lack thereof, yeah.
Okay, or lack thereof, but especially on offense. Let's get to December and see where this team is. Okay, and if they make a run and sneak into the postseason, wow, what a surprise. If they finish 8-9 and don't but showed great improvement, terrific. That was my expectation. 9-8, even better. Do not mortgage the future. Do not. I think it would be a huge mistake to trade Braxton Jones. I mean, unless it is just such an incredible offer, like a third or fourth round pick that you can't pass up. All right. How many times have we been in the second half of the season, guys, and said, man, I wish we had more depth on the offensive line? You never know. Stay relevant in November and December. Give this team, let this team build some mojo going for the playoffs, even if they don't make it, and then look ahead to next season.
Hey, last thing for you, Lou, real quick. I know, well, and then we'll let you go. Appreciate your time. What's the kicking position? How does this play out with Santos and Moody? For the roster, you can't keep both guys. No,
that's a great question, Matt. And I believe Santos is healthy, so you'll put him back out there. If I'm not mistaken, they can only bring Moody back one more time, okay, off the practice squad. They're lucky they have him, but Santos has the money. You'd hate to take the job away from a guy because he got injured. And let's see what happens. But boy, are they lucky they had Moody. Whoever, for all the criticism that Ryan Poles gets, this is one of those moves. And I'll be first to beat up Ryan Poles for, having Tremaine Edmonds at linebacker instead of Roquan Smith. And we'll find out how Roquan felt about having to, leaving the Bears this Sunday. But this was a good move by Poles. He got himself a pretty good insurance policy out there, and it's worked out well.
Lou, we really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy day to do this. I know your day is getting busier because you turn on 32. It seems like you're always on it.
You know what, Dan? I need you to be my agent because I'm not being compensated.
Yeah, Lou, at my house, we don't call it Fox 32. We call it Lou 32.
Lou 32.
Yeah.
That should be our cadence.
Yes, Lou 32.
I like that. Hey, it's I'm doing sports in my hometown. You can't beat it.
There you go, pal. It's great to see you,
Thanks,
buddy.
Man.
Good to see you guys. Congrats again.
Thanks. We'll talk to you soon.
Okay.
That is Lou Canellis, the lead sports anchor of Fox 32 and a renowned Chicago restaurateur as well.
Good dude. Just a good dude.
Yep. I mean, known him since back in the years on the beat when we were traveling with the team. I think he and I were on a water taxi in Jacksonville when the Jaguars had first joined the league.
No, you were in a gondola in Venice.
Is that what it was?
That's what it was. It wasn't a water taxi in Jacksonville.
I thought that was my honeymoon.
I mean, they're very, very similar, so I get the confusion. Yes, but...
So I've got a couple of names here. Can I give you... The Bear currently, I've got a list that you just sort of, the Bear in whom I'm disappointed, and we haven't talked about either of these guys really at any length on this show yet, and a Bear with whom I'm really impressed.
Yes. I'd like to hear those.
I don't know if you can guess them or not, but I'm going to give you the Bear in whom I'm disappointed, from whom to this point I expected more.
All right, let me take a stab at it. So a guy you're disappointed with and a guy you're very pleased with.
Yeah, and the guy I'm disappointed with, I just thought, that's a really good signing. Oh, because I know he's good at his job.
I know who it is, and I don't want to guess it and spoil it for you, because we discussed him earlier.
Devin Duvernay.
Yeah.
Devin Duvernay has been a Pro Bowl return man.
Yes.
He's not playing like one. And I'm trying to keep in mind the fact that the new rules may change the way guys do their jobs, and they've got to get used to new blocking schemes, and maybe this is just part of the learning process of how kickers are treating kickoffs, etc. But if you look, there are 50 names of guys that have returned multiple kickoffs. And when it comes to breaking one, like just one, Devin Duvernay's got 18 kickoff returns. His longest is 34 yards. And that is 1 yard away from the very lowest of guys who are listed in the top 50.
So, should there be more opportunities for Burden?
I only have the top 50 in front of me here. Well, Burden, his long is 44. Burden's average is 27.9, and the average for Duvernay is 24.8. Burden's been more effective.
Yep.
But if you're using Burden correctly, if Burden's doing what I want him to do, I don't want him returning kicks.
Correct.
Because I think his value should outstrip that. I think he should be too important to put back there.
Yeah, to the receiving game, 100%.
Yeah,
yes.
I want him out there affecting games. Guys had a 100-yard receiving game already.
Yeah.
So I would much rather see that. And I don't want them to have to fall back on what Burden's doing, but I guess it's just a simple way of saying I expected more from Devin Duvernay. Break one. You don't even score a touchdown, but be a threat.
Yeah, that's fair.
Be a threat. Make them not want to kick to you. Because with everything else that's going on, and there's been some really good special teams play.
And remind me, he was cut then brought back, right? Wasn't there?
That was procedural, I think.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
yes.
But
yeah, he was not cut to cut. I think it was procedural.
Correct. Okay. For financial things or whatever it was, or roster stuff. Yeah.
Something administrative. But let's go, man.
Because I remember when that first happened, how you were disappointed. But, it was like, oh, they'll bring him back through. But I remember you being disappointed.
Yeah, say, well, I'm curious. I would say, well, I'm disappointed.
Curious. Yes, curious.
I was definitely intrigued to say, well, why are they doing this? Is he falling out of favor? And are they going to use Burden? I don't want Burden's too important. I hope, like, if you take a second-round pick,
yeah,
and if you look 3 years from now, if Burden is even in the kick returning conversation, something's gone wrong. Something's gone horribly wrong.
So, who's the guy you're pleased with? Let me try to guess this. Pleased with Kevin Byard.
Yeah,
but he's not the guy you had.
No, this is a guy.
Offense or defense?
Defense.
Defense. All right. Let's say. Who you got?
Tremaine Edmonds.
Oh, okay.
Just based on his performance as a Bear, he is almost double as good as he's ever been as a Bear. And that may just be because he's underperformed. I'll say his availability has been great. Great. In 2023, started 15 games, played in 15 games. 2024, 17-17, 6 for 6 availability this year. And look at his production. I understand that tackle numbers can be weird, but this is a larger sample size here. In his first 32 games as a Bear, he had 223 tackles. So that's 6.96.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, 7 tackles a game. He's averaging 10 this year.
Okay.
He's got 61 tackles in 6 games. In his other 2 seasons as a Bear, he had a total of 5 interceptions. He's got 3 in 6 games. And say what you want, the same goes for Byard. Interceptions, you can say, are, well, the ball happened to find you. Or you just happened to be in the right place, right time. Bullshit.
Yeah, I don't always, not at all.
It is a function of being where you're supposed to be, being reactive and responsive to the ball, awareness, hands, all of that stuff matters. And this always goes back to me when I was working with Doug Buffone. And somebody talked about a fumble recovery. I think it was John Theory, who said it was luck he was in the right place at the right time. And Doug got really mad about that. And he said, for every time it looks like somebody is in the right place at the right time, you don't see how many times a responsible defensive player was in the right place and the ball didn't find him.
Yeah, because that guy prevented a throw. Right.
Time, not just prevented a throw, but was where he was supposed to be no matter what happened. That as long as you are finishing the play, this is effort. That effort gets rewarded by opportunity. And because Tremaine Edmonds is fast and long, tremendously athletic, I'm shocked that he wasn't more productive in the Eberflus defense that was built in large part around him, doing the Urlacher stuff.
Yeah.
It's there for him. But he's doing it now. And he is making the most of some of these opportunities. How many times do we see guys drop? There is an NFL game you watch where you say, oh, if he could only have held on to that.
Yeah.
Batted the ball down or didn't bat it to himself or dropped an interception, tipped it, goes right through his hands. But when you're making sure those don't happen and you are doing it,
Well, that interception in the Saints game was a product of being in the right place at the right time because, again, Jackson wipes out Kamara, Edwards tips it, and he's right there to benefit for that interception. Now, most times, though, and we've seen this with Kevin Byard, too, this is a defensive player being well-prepared and well-coached to recognize what's happening before it happens. You talk about Caleb Williams being able to recognize what the defense is doing to already win the play before the ball's even snapped. That's what good defensive players do when they're coached well with a good scheme in place to game plan against an offense. Being in the right place, recognizing, yep, I know this motion, I know where this play is going, I know where I need to be, I know where I'm going to be, I'm going to get there. And again, that's a product of effort, but recognition and preparation. And so I think part of that goes to Dennis Allen, too,
he's been
in what we're seeing in this season so far through his first 6 games.
I don't know if he has more freedom. I don't know if he's being more freedom to read and react or if he's locked into a gap every time and a responsibility every time.
Or just better coaching.
But that's what
because of what we've seen the last 2 years.
This is why I was really excited when they signed him.
Yeah.
When they threw a ton of money at him. This is why I was excited because he's changing games now. With this kind of play and this kind of production.
Yeah, and it's interesting. And we just talked with Lou, and he brought up Roquan Smith and why he's gone and why Tremaine Edmonds is here.
And remember what was said about and the reason why Roquan Smith was gone. I'm glad you brought it up because that is going to be a building narrative for this weekend.
Yeah.
And Saint Omni, we didn't put Saint Omni on the list of saints, the mythical agent.
Oh yeah.
Remember that?
Oh, that's right.
We don't think it actually exists, and it anagrams to "it is no man." So I always found that there was something strange going on with Saint Omni.
Yeah, for sure.
But the Bears didn't, or the stated reason was the valuation of box linebackers, of inside linebackers, because they get lumped in the averages with edge rushers as linebackers. The system has to catch up with that, and the system should be using edge rushers as its own position, just like the draft does, rather than, say, linebacker, because the term linebacker is outdated.
Yep.
Nickel corner is a linebacker.
Yeah, if you look at some of the websites that break down salary caps for teams, they have it specified by edge rusher.
It should be.
It's how it should be.
It should be, but that doesn't necessarily affect the way some of the negotiations work positionally because the league is still behind in the way it defines some of these positions. And the idea was, box linebackers, stack linebackers, whatever you call them, don't necessarily command the same kind of money because what they do isn't as valuable. Tremaine Edmonds is earning that contract right now.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and he just deserves a shout out.
That's good. No, I love it. Real quick, I want to just go back to that piece that I brought up with Lou. And again, I know I'm not outraged. I'm not angry. It's a guy writing a story and basing his own opinion. But I just think it's not giving enough credit to Ben Johnson. So Bill Barnwell wrote he evaluates the offseason by each team and has 7 different categories and he ranks them. He gives the NFL's best offseason to the Colts. Now, again, it's a product of their record. They're winning, but Daniel Jones, the 1 year, $14 million, he's playing well above that right now. I get it. Way ahead of expectations. He has Patriots, he has Giants, he has 49ers, he has Seahawks, which I'm like, and Buccaneers. I'm like, all right, well, what do you categorize as expectations before the season started? Because I think people had very high expectations for the 49ers. I don't think they could be playing above that. But anyway, again, his opinion. Slightly above expectations. He has Cardinals, Falcons, Panthers, Browns and Broncos, and Jaguars. And again, these are, based on all offseason moves. Also has the Eagles and the Steelers in that category. Gets to exactly average, which is the Cowboys and the Chiefs and the Rams. And then we come to slightly below expectations. Okay. Buffalo Bills and your Chicago Bears. Hiring head coach Ben Johnson, signing Deshaun Wright, and drafting 7th-round running back Kyle Monangai. For me, and these are the disappointments he has. Drew Dahlman, Dio, Grady Jarrett, and Colson Loveland. I get it. I get what he's saying. It's an opinion piece. Fine. I understand it. But for me, at 4-2, how the first 2 games looked, how the first 2 games came out, especially that Lions game, where Ben Johnson has this team right now at 4-2 with the slightly above average to generally below average play of the quarterback, the non-existent run game, the difficulty with the offense, Ben Johnson hiring alone should have this team in the category of above expectations, I believe.
I think that's a well-made case.
Yeah.
And I agree 100%.
Yeah. I just think not enough credit is being given to the hiring of Ben Johnson and the impact he's had through the first 6 games of this season,
or
with the roster makeup and then how it's developing.
Or did Bill Barnwell genuinely believe that the Bears were in a better position to take a larger leap? Because he may just not have seen the Bears close enough to know how
deficient the roster is.
Thank you. This is like my wife finishing my sentences. Sorry. Where are we going? It happened this morning because we have a dinner on Saturday with friends of ours, and I said, "Oh, where are we going?" And she goes, "Oh, we're going to the Italian." I'm like, "Oh, Buonanotte." She goes, "Yes."
Well. I am your work
right.
Work
it's just
spouse.
like, how did you know? I trust me. I somehow intuited that when you said the thing and we're starting to do a thing, the one I just knew.
You knew what it was.
I knew what it was. It was the
yeah.
one
So
on Irving Park.
maybe
It's
with
really
the
good.
hiring of Ben Johnson, he had higher expectations and they're slightly below. But I don't know. Like what do you expect? The 6-0 right now? I mean, you look at that Vikings collapse, 5-1.
How
sure.
about and I know this is sort of like old Bears McCaskey logic, but what about the response to starting 0-2 and getting your dick kicked in the second game?
Right, and then being 4-0.
Right.
Yeah. I'm not outraged or angry or the national media doesn't respect the Bears. No, it's a guy's opinion and it's fine. Mm-hmm. It's something to look at and read and think through. But I would give more credit to Ben Johnson where they're at right now than what the piece gave. But yeah, we can, again, it's a guy's opinion and thought, but good stuff.
I've got an opinion and thought. I love going to beer church. And the reason I do is because now that I've sampled everything on their menu and all of their wonderful small batch brews there, I can tell you from experience that you're going to absolutely love it. And you should make time for a special trip. This is the time. Right now, we are in absolutely the heyday of the Southwest Michigan foliage. You can look at maps and see peak and all that. But if you're thinking this weekend of just taking a drive out there, or you're looking for a reason to go on a crisp fall day and go to a place where not only can you and the wife or you and the whole family have a great experience enjoying pizza and all their other wonderful food in a historic church, you can watch games. There's all sorts. There's flat screen TVs that are there on the patio, and you can make an afternoon out of it as part of your trip out there. And it's really not that far. It's not. New Buffalo is a hop, skip, and a jump from Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana. And once you try the pizza, you're going to think about, oh, wait a second. I'd love to know how to make this. They've got a literal pizza school there in this old-fashioned church. It's been there since the 1800s, a Civil War-era church. They're going to show you when you go to the pizza making school and do a private party there. They're going to tell you all about how the dough is prepared and how it sets and how you stretch it all out, to put the ingredients in what order and why, and what the sort of the best practices are.
It sounds fun to do with the boys. I know you mentioned that with kids to do it.
Oh, do it!
Yeah, I know.
They'll love it.
So I'm balancing the thought of doing it because it sounds great as a family, but then the idea of bringing the kids on a trip, where would be more fun, which is me and Natalie. But so I'm weighing.
Go twice.
I'm weighing the out. I might have to
go twice.
Might have to go twice.
And as far as those, they do this all throughout the year. This is year round. It's a heated patio. They have up to 300 people do these pizza parties, these pizza making parties at the pizza school. So maybe for the fall, for Thanksgiving, for Christmas, whatever your office does, bring some folks out there. You want to entertain clients or something, do that. And it's just something really different that people will appreciate. All you do is go to beerchurchbrewing.com. That's beerchurchbrewing.com. And people who know, I know because I've been there. But just, it's an awesome place with great food and great fun and an atmosphere that is just convivial for all involved. beerchurchbrewing.com.
I want to just mention something on the Bears injury report because we didn't say this earlier. The did not practice for DJ Moore yesterday, and the injury listed is hip. So remember, he went out with a groin, and it was the whole didn't travel, stayed overnight at the hospital, had a groin injury. And then last week it was listed groin/hip. Now it's just hip. So I'm wondering what's going on. And if the hip thing evolved because of the groin, or if the hip happened and it was like hip and groin from the start.
Or they just don't want to say what it is.
Yeah.
That they don't want to. I hope it's not
because
a sports hernia.
Groin. Well, I mean, groin. I mean, would you categorize it as hip if it was a sports injury? I mean, you would still say groin, wouldn't you?
Inside of the hip. It could be upper groin near the hip.
Yeah, but you would still say groin,
I don't know.
Because like groin is like muscular, and hip just makes me concerned because of it's a skeletal issue,
right? Or it's sports hernia.
Yeah, I don't know.
Or it's an injury somewhere where the pain radiates elsewhere because of the proximity to a certain nerve. The pain doesn't have to be felt in the place where the injury is, but even it's all probably too complicated. Either he's hurt or he's not, and if injury is affecting effort,
let him rest.
Don't play
him off. Yeah, for sure.
Don't play him. I think that's pretty simple.
Yeah.
And every athlete knows the difference between good enough to sometimes win and game-changing, because championship teams don't win by showing up unprepared. And the same applies to your game when it comes to the bedroom. Rougiette Ready is the 3-in-1 ED treatment that prepares you for the moment. Rougiette is designed to prime your brain and boost blood flow and start working in as few as 15 minutes. So that's not just showing up. That's winning by a big margin. There's a combination of active ingredients, the sildenafil for fast action, tadalafil for the long game, and importantly, an ED med that primes the brain. It's apomorphine that boosts arousal at the source. It works in as few as 15 minutes because it's sublingual, so it absorbs faster than most pills. And the active window is 36 hours, so it's ready when you are, not just immediately. And just like an elite athlete will dial in a pregame routine with nutrition, mental prep, and physical readiness, you can do the same with Rougiette at rougiette.com, RUGIET.com, and get your game plan from a licensed ED doctor. Use the promo code FORWARD for Forward Progress. Forward is your code at checkout for a special offer. Treatment ships discreetly to your door. Time to get back in the game with Rougiette.
And that will do it for this episode of Forward Progress. Remember, if you're enjoying Forward Progress and you're not listening to DBU, what the hell is wrong with you? Listen to both.
And if you're a Bulls fan, OWC is back and doing great. So make sure you are checking out organizations win championships as well.
And all three have their own YouTube channel. Go to all three, subscribe to all three of them, click the little bell icon to get the alerts when things go live and things happen with each show. You can find all the podcasts on any place you find your favorite podcast platform. And just as a reminder, too, OWC, the Apple issues, if you're looking for that on a podcast on Apple, go to the DBU Apple podcast page. You can find all the OWC until we clear up the issue with the Apple stuff. Whatever's going on, we'll get it figured out. It's still on Spotify, though. Anywhere else you find your favorite podcast, you can find OWC. Thanks for being a part of the show today. We thank our guest, Lou Canellis. Always love talking to Sweet Lou. Remember, tomorrow on Forward Progress, we will have Brian Wacker on. He's the lead Ravens reporter for the Baltimore Sun. So we'll get a little inside look from the Baltimore Ravens. As well as tomorrow on DBU, it's the top 10 Ravens of all time.
I'm deep into my research. I know the
I know,
committee
you're
has been
excited.
busy as well. Yeah, I'm learning a lot.
I am too. I'm finding more Ravens than I ever anticipated.
And I'm not
the committee. The committee is finding.
I'm not holding it to all Corvids, by the way. I am doing Ravens and Crows.
Okay, so you're doing Ravens and Crows.
Ravens and Crows are going to be eligible.
Okay.
Not Jays, because technically Jays are a member of the Corvid family.
Like a Blue Jay?
Yes.
Oh, no, we're not doing those.
So even though they're technically a Corvid, I don't think I'm going to involve them.
All right, that's Forward Progress. He's Dan Bernstein and Matt Abaticola. Thanks for checking us out, and we'll talk to you again tomorrow.
10, 219, 219.
Forward Progress, a Chicago Bears podcast with Dan Bernstein and Matt Abaticola on 312 Sports.